Welcome everyone to a brilliant tournament game between Matthew as Grand Cathay going up against Rice as the Kislev. Now we're going to be playing on the Ogre Mountains in a fantastic land battle. So starting with the small forces of the Kislevites. So we're going to be starting with the front line here. Armoured Cossars are going to be dotted 5 units on the front line, including here some Cossars. So Cossars in the back, backed up here by Streltsy and the Ice Guard swords. So they are going to be having some good anti-infantry. These lovely ladies are going to do very well here also with their slow abilities, really giving them some good battlefield control. 2 units of the armor piercing Streltsy can fight armor piercing in combat and then also with their 140 range. For the Lord Choice, we are going to be having Tsarina Katerin at the front here on her gorgeous polar bear. Here with the ability of the Crystal Cloak, as well as the Arcane Conduit and the Frost Shield. Spells today are going to be the Heart of Winter and the Ice Maiden's Kiss with the abilities of the Frost Fang and Stand Your Ground. For the hero, we are going to have a Patriarch on a bear, of course. There's no other gangster way to bring him. He's going to have the Brazier as well as the Ararai with the triple ability of the Battle Hymn, the Lullaby, and also the Song of Winter Sunlight. In the back, we are going to have some of the heavy war sleds ready to go here in the front line. Going to be very good anti-infantry and armor piercing, but they have been kind of reduced here a little bit. Their melee kind of combatant element has been reduced quite considerably. So for Grand Cathay here and Matthew, we are going to have the Lord of Yang. Bit of an interesting one, but we are going to be having the Jade Amulet, as well as the only spell of the Dragon's Breath. Now, we are going to be on a Great Longmar, which means we are going to have brilliant speed and mobility throughout the battlefield. With the Jade Warrior Sword and Shield here, 5 units at the front coming here with their Harmony, and then also some more Peasant Long Spearmen. We are going to have the hero of the Astromancer. This bad boy here is going to be having the Master of Element Wind and the Cloak of Pomi, so coming in with that regen. Secondly, we are going to have the Alchemist, which is also going to be an addition with also Plague of Rust. Now that is going to increase thanks to having 3 of the Master of Element Winds, which means we're now going to be up to negative 39 armor at 130 intensity. In the back, we are going to have more Peasant Long Spearmen, triple of the Grand Cannons, and looking very scary indeed, really using the edge of this mountain. On the top, we are going to have some Jade Lancers, 2 heavily armoured cavalry, not particularly quick, but think of them as the Empire Cavalry of old. So we're going to be firing into the front line. We can see quite a bit of damage coming up against the Cossars and Armoured Cossars in the front line. Tsarina coming to the left-hand flank here of Grand Cathay, supported by a few extra units in the trees. So she's going to be diving forward, maybe trying to see if we get maybe the Heart of Winter on the build, really force Matthew and tax the majority of his micro. In the back, it looks like maybe a spell here coming from Tsarina. Maybe the Ice Maiden's Kiss could be on the floor. No, it's going to be the Frost Fang doing some good damage up against the Peasant Long Spearmen and catching some of the Grand Cannon crew as well. But she's going to take a considerable amount of damage there for that trade. Down by a 3rd HP already. I don't particularly think that was all that cost efficient. So we're going to get a bit of a skip on here. Shooting into the front line. Lots of good spread damage here coming from Matthew. Really orientating the targets here. Once we've done quite a bit of damage to one, we move on to the next, making them, kind of evenly damaged and, of course, reducing that leadership over time. So we're going to be charging forward here, Tsarina plus the Patriarch, and now come in the heavy war sleds. Now they are going to get wrecked to shreds here by the Grand Cannons. The Dragonbrand Lord also going to be doing spells down the line. The Corsairs really suffering. Fire Blood has been activated, really trying to keep these infantry units on the battlefield. And coming on the right hand flank in a little bit of the dead zone, which is quite nice. We are trying to turn here with the Grand Cannons, and they're going to be firing in the front here, coming after the war sleds. Look at the damage! So much stuff here up against the heavy war sleds. Very good work from the triple cannons. Loads of damage coming up against the Ice Guard swords. 1 unit here, maybe trying to get in, maybe unnoticed. Sadly, it's not going to be happening today. But we are now firing in the front up against the Grand Cannons. Moving in the back with the double heroes. Tsarina sadly doesn't have the Snow Leopard summon, but Matt here going to be getting caught out. Double Jade Lancers in the trees are going to be activated. And looks like also a Heart of Winter going down here. Hopefully, this is going to be Overcast coming in from Rice. But it really depends. What sort of Winds of Magic? Yes, that is going to be Overcast. That's going to be 4 extra Winds of Magic for 50% increase to the DPS. Coming around the flanks here, Jade Lancers will now be compromising all the Cossars in the back. The Dragon's Breath doing some brilliant damage up against the Cossars. Very good here up against Kislev, and also especially up against Slanesh, especially with all those very lightly armoured troops. Heart of Winter in the back is just going to be destroying so many units here in the middle. This infantry is really going to suffer up against this very powerful spell. Plague of Rust has been overcast. It does say -60, but it should be more than that. It should be up to -78 armor then when overcast. But we are going to be 0 with the Patriarch, so he's going to get dragged down very quickly by the Peasant Long Spearman, and the Astromancer will be fighting with some pretty good melee prowess. So in the standard ground has been activated, so that plus 24 melee defense and leadership going to be very handy here, plus healing coming for the Patriarch can be some very nice stuff indeed. Dragon-Blooded Lord probably needs to get the back here and start compromising the Streltsy. We do see Dragon's Breath down the line of the Streltsy, but we do have Jade Lancers coming around. What do we have here to stop this cavalry contingent? Corsairs are going to be lining up here for the front line. Very lightly armoured Peasant Long Spearmen are awaiting, but they're just going to be kind of holding on for the harmony buffs for the Grand Cannons. Just increasing that DPS across the battlefield is going to be very handy indeed. Zarina has the Lullaby and the Song of Winter Sunlight activated here, really helping the heavy war sleds as well, keeping them nice and healthy and keeping that vigor in a top tier shape. Alchemist fighting in melee combat, looking absolutely gangster as always. Look at this! Look at the cloak, it looks so goddamn good. Punching into the floor as we're going to get some of these earthbending, maybe even some other elements going on here in the middle, fighting up against the Patriarch on his polar bear. It really doesn't get any more gangster than the battle going on here in the middle. So we are going to have the Lord Choice here, compromising up against the heavy war sleds. 1 ton armor is going to be quite sufficient, as we don't have too much AP there for the Dragon-Blooded Lord. In the back, the Jade Lancers are going to be compromising the Ice Guard swords. Sadly here, I think actually having the ice tip spears for the anti-large and armor piercing is really good up against other cavalry. It makes it a very dangerous hybrid unit. The Ice Guard swords can be very nice, but I think dealing with infantry, we certainly have more tools on the battlefield, including the heavy war sleds. In the back, rear charging up against the Streltsy and a couple of the armoured Corsairs. Really good work here coming out of Matthew. These Jade Lancers doing some brilliant work indeed. By Our Blood being activated for the Streltsy, and balance of power is going to be shifting here very gently into the Cathay favour. It looks like we are going to get a regular Heart of Winter casting in the back, catching 1, 2, 3 units, and on the outside of a 4th as well. But it looks like the Patriarch is really suffering here in the middle, down to 1,600 HP, and it's like Zarina, both of their healing cap is going to be visible here, and the Alchemist still going to be going hard here in the middle. Zarina is really struggling. If the Patriarch goes here, I think Zarina will probably go with it. For the main battle line, I think most of the DPS has been dealt with. We do see the double Streltsy going down, and it looks like the majority of the armoured Corsairs are also going to be following it. We do have the Jade Warriors, the Sword and Shield, doing all the heroic things you would hope here from the Cathay army, and the Dragon-Blooded Lord is going to be clearing up the backside. Definitely want to keep that mobile unit, getting into the backside here of the Streltsy and pushing it towards the edge of that white line. In the middle, we are going to have these cycle charging heavy war sleds. They'll really clear out a lot of the Jade Warriors, but you've got to be careful. These cannons in the back certainly do some good work. Now, we do see both of the cannon crews off the cannons. I don't know if there's still a glitch where you can't get back on. I'm not too sure. Hopefully someone in the comments down below can update me on that one. But it would seem to be that they're not getting back on their cannons. So getting away with that means that the heavy war sleds are now going to be a little bit more mobile to do as they play, start using some more of that ammunition. We do see the Patriarch getting incredibly low. I'd probably pull out and try and see if we can... Oh, look at that Dragon Breath on the left-hand side. But hopefully try and see maybe if we get another Lullaby out there. Looks like that's not going to be the case. We are going to be breaking, and then we are going to be having By Our Blood activated by Zarina Catherine as we activate that. Oh, look at that. The Ice Maiden's Kiss down the line, doing some good work up against the Peasant Long Spearman. But I believe that is going to be army losses. So GG's and well played here to Matthew and Grand Cathay. A very formidable force indeed, and I'm very excited to see what the triple Grand Cannons do. But looks like here the cavalry, I really do like the tanky element of the Jade Lancers. They don't fall very quickly, having them up against the majority of the forces of Kislev. There's not too many units that can deal with Jade Lancers. Yeah, very well thought out battle, really good positioning on the battlefield as well. Using the edge of that sort of cliff edge there was really quite smart. It gave you sort of a free right hand protection up against the Kislevite force. I do apologise as well, so my casting is not quite up to maybe what it was. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, not too sure. Still rather injured with my back, so I'm really trying to give you guys some content and trying to make it the best I possibly can. But if we jump through here, the Lord of Yang coming in at 1,500 damage value, very strong stuff. 500 and 680 there for the Alchemist and the Astromancer. So these three coming together is certainly a very viable strategy. 1,700, 700 and 900 coming in for the triple cannon, so really good stuff. Comfortably all three of them paying for themselves. 83, 440, 980 and 350 for the Jade Lancers. with 370, 380, 390, 360, and 460 for the J Warrior. So very, very consistent indeed. And then also 117, 2,200. What the hell? What kind of steroids were these peasant long spearmen on? They were taking all kinds of roids. These bad boys have been to the gym, that's for sure. And if you want to know a unit that always in melee combat pays for itself, these bad boys. I mean, I don't know what these bad boys take, but they are on a different level today. God, that's some incredible value. 8 damage value, 1,500 as well. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. What have you been feeding these boys, Matthew? Let me know. I want to know. I want to know. 188 kills, 2,600 for Tsarina Katerin with those fantastic Heart of Winters. Overcasting them gives you an extra 50% DPS, but then also only costs 4 extra winds of magic. So it's definitely worth it, even if you do take a little bit of chip damage there from Overcast. 390 for the Patriarch with some good healing. 660 there from the heavy War Sleds. War Sleds have been nerfed considerably on the light and the heavy. Not as good in melee combat, and they're certainly going to be less tanky. So something there to really take into consideration. 505 there for the Ice Guard Swords, with the Streltsy coming in at 350 and 530. So 260, 190, 320, and 280 there for the Armored Corsairs, with 180, 360, 280, and 300 for the Corsairs. So I really hope all of you enjoyed this game. If you did, please smash that like button. It would really help here on the channel. Feel free to leave your comments down below, but of course, always be respectful. And if you haven't already, do subscribe. It really does help the growth of the channel, so I can go on to bigger, wider, and hopefully better things. Now, if you haven't, do check out that description. You can find all my other social media platforms, including that Discord and that Twitch. Other than that, I've been your boy Logic, and I'll be seeing you very, very soon.